Thomas Frank has finally been sacked. ENIC have finally found the balls to sack Thomas Frank. I've been worried for a long time that Thomas Frank will get us relegated. I've been saying it on videos and people kept calling me super negative and I don't want to watch your channel anymore. You used to be so positive. But what the hell was I supposed to be positive with? Spurs were 30 seconds away from being 3 points from relegation under this manager. This guy couldn't inspire a fish to get back in the water. He is so uninspiring. The players did not want to play for him. You could see it a mile off that they did not want to play the way he wanted to play. The way he speaks is so negative. It's like we will lose games and there's hundreds of things he said that I just can't think of the top of my head. But he's so uninspiring. So like he just does not make me want to watch Spurs. Spurs have been dreadful all season. People were blaming the injuries, and I felt sorry for him a little bit in that aspect. But before the injuries, we were dreadful anyway. We were getting XGs of 0.12. We had a 0.09 or 0.07 against Chelsea and Arsenal. It was absolutely embarrassing. There's no fight. There was no passion. There was no commitment. Like, there was nothing under this manager. This is the worst manager we've ever had. And I kept saying every week that if we keep this manager, we are going to get relegated. So, as you can tell, I am so happy that this guy is gone. Now, we need someone to come in and inspire these players just to kick us on, to stop us from getting relegated. We've had 2 wins in the last 17 games. Now, even if you want to blame injuries, the team we put out yesterday was more than capable enough of fighting against Newcastle, at least competing with Newcastle. And we didn't. We were second to everything, second to second balls, second to first balls. We were second aerially. They were just dominant against us in all positions of the pitch. And it was embarrassing to watch. At the moment, I think this season has probably been the worst season ever to support Tottenham Hotspur. That's why my positivity has just been drained from me. It's been absolutely drained from me. 7 months ago, I made a video about what could happen if we sacked Ange Postecoglou and bring in Thomas Frank. I'd say 90% of that video ended up being correct. I said we'd go out early in the cups. I said the players wouldn't be motivated anymore. I think the players would turn on this new manager because they were so upbeat about winning the trophy and Ange saying that he wants to go on and win more. They were deflated with the appointment of Thomas Frank. Everything I said happened, but I didn't realize how bad things would get. I didn't predict that we'd be this close to relegation. I said we'll be not doing very well. I said we'd probably be mid-table at least, but I did not know we'd get this close to relegation. You got to remember as well, West Ham were 2-0 up against Chelsea. If they won that, if they didn't throw that away, and if they didn't throw that last 30 seconds to go against Manchester United, they'd be equal with us now. Let that sink in. We'd be equal, third from bottom. This massive club with £1 billion stadium, 9th richest club in the world, fighting relegation. These owners have got a lot to answer for. They really have. And it got to a January. Now, we've got to emphasize, this is not all Thomas Frank. This is not all him. But he was part of the problem. ENIC decided, and Lang decided, and Frank decided, they all decided not to sign any players in January when we've got the biggest injury crisis we've ever had, even worse than last season, and they've decided not to bring any players in to back Thomas Frank to help us through. Even though we're near relegation, we've got no players to support us, that we've won 2 in 15 at the time. And they still thought, you know what, I'm not gonna bring any players, and we don't need any players. And then since then, I think in January we had 6 long-term injuries, and we've had 2 since the January window is shut. And we decided to bring Conor Gallagher in and Sousa, who wasn't really meant to be playing, but because of all the injuries, he's going to be playing now. It's absolutely ridiculous. So the board have let us down again. They gave us all this ambitious talk. We want to compete in all 4 fronts. Do you know what Thomas Frank said yesterday? He said, it looks like we can't compete in 2 competitions. So he's absolutely contradicted the whole thing, that the reason why Ange got sacked in the first place. So Ange gets sacked. Franks comes in. We compete on all 4 fronts. We went out the cups really early. We can't compete in the league. The only thing we've done well in is the Champions League, which blows my mind in itself. So this whole thing has been a shambles. We probably would have been better off keeping Ange. But you know what would have happened? If Ange stayed and we got all these injuries, he would have been blamed for every single injury. How comes Frank's not getting blamed for any of these injuries, but Ange got blamed for all of them? Baffles me. This decision baffles me, because why didn't we just go into season 3 with Ange? It would have been better than this shit. It would have been better. 100% would have been better. And we all said this. Well, I said this at the beginning of the season. The players will be deflated if a new manager comes in, especially one that plays pragmatic and has not got a winning mentality. He's got the Brentford mentality. He thinks what we're doing right now is okay, at least as long as we stay up. It's not. It baffles me. What is this club doing? We're getting worse and worse every season. They can see we're getting worse and they're doing nothing. They've said to us, we're going to be ambitious. Daniel Levy's gone now. We're going to be ambitious. We're going to concentrate on sport and success. Sport and success. What sport and success? You're not concentrating on anything other than trying to avoid relegation. This is a shambles. This is an embarrassment of a club. And how can you be the 9th richest club in the Premier League, in the world actually, and be fighting relegation? It's embarrassing. How is you as owners sleep at night? Because you don't care, because you have no interest in sport and success. You only have interest in making money, doing your concerts, your Formula One, getting Beyonce in, doing the boxing, getting the NFL sorted. That's all you care about. This is a football club. A football club. Make sure you start getting that in your head, because we will, no matter what manager comes in, if you don't back him, if you don't sort this shit out, we're going to get fucking relegated. Even if a new manager comes in. This club has a lot to fucking answer for. It really has. And I'm a really positive fucking person normally, but this club don't give a shit, and we need to wake up. We need to make sure we realize what's going on, because this club is dragging us to the fucking bottom. We will be in the Championship, and I'm glad we got rid of Frank, because he doesn't inspire anybody. If I was stranded in a desert, he couldn't convince me to fucking drink water. He couldn't motivate me to drink a bottle of water. That's how uninspiring he is. So he was part of the problem, but he's not the whole problem. This will still go down. We will still go down. We will still go bad. We will still end up in the Championship. We may scrape out of the relegation this season. We might do. There's still a chance we could still go down, by the way. But if we scrape out of it this year, and the board do nothing to fucking help us, and they drag us down, we will get relegated, I'm telling you. Frank's gone, yeah, but there's still massive problems at this club. Still massive, massive problems. I don't know how else to explain it. How do you guys feel about this? Well, because you guys have all subscribed to me, because I'm normally logical. I'm normally keep my cool. I'm quite positive. I have a positive outlook on things. But can you tell me what, if you're pissed off with me being like this, tell me what you're seeing with this board, with this ownership, with these recruitment teams, with Frank at the time, with scouting, with anything. Remember, Bournemouth bring in 2 players, Krupi, Rayan. Both of them are exceptional players. They're both really doing well in the Premier League. They signed him for pennies compared to what we spend on players. So why are Bournemouth doing it and we're not? We won't even sign players, let alone sign unknown players. I don't know what the plan is for this club. I don't know what the future is for this club. The only thing I can see at the moment is, if it carries on the way it is, we will get relegated at some point. I don't know how to point this out any more than I do. There's something needs to change, and it has to be at the top. They've got no winning mentality whatsoever. There's no winning mentality there. There's nothing. They don't want to win. I promise you this. If you haven't had enough evidence just from this season alone, look back at all the times Enoch have let us down. Look back at all the times where we were so close and they couldn't be bothered to support the manager. I'm glad Thomas Frank is gone. Let me make that clear. But let me make it really clear. It's not just Thomas Frank that's making this club go backwards. It's every single compartment of this club that is rotten to the core, and it needs to change. Let me know in the comments what you think of this whole situation. What kind of manager do you want to come in next? Let me know. Thank you for watching. I do appreciate everybody that supports this channel. I really do. I just really needed to get that off my chest because things are really bad. And I was so worried we were going to go down under this manager. Thank you for watching. Come on, you Spurs.